Hey there, welcome back to Style Code Live. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get honest here. Let's be honest and talk zits, shall we?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I feel like it never fails that you wake up one morning and a big one just decides to like camp out right on the side of your forehead,
Always
right on
on
the
an
tip of your
important
nose.
day, like always on a
Absolutely.
date night, like when you have something coming up.
Yeah, and it has like a mind of its own. It's just like talking to you and everyone around
It's
you.
inevitable, and it's always right here, so that like I really feel like no one's looking at me in the eyes. They're literally
what's
just
that,
staring.
Frankie?
I
What?
know I have a zit. I do. I tried to cover it up. But
okay.
here to tell us how to combat any type of blemish is one of New York's top dermatologists, Joshua Zeichner. Welcome, JZ.
Yeah, JC.
Thanks for having me.
I love
Thank
how
you.
official you are in your MD code. You're a rock.
I gotta look
This will be the
official.
new
Oh,
fashion,
yeah.
you guys, that we're going to be talking about soon. So this is our model Annie, and Annie has fantastic skin.
Yeah.
So what can she do to prevent those pesky blackheads and whiteheads that we all deal with?
Yeah.
Sure. So when we're talking about blackheads and whiteheads, the key ingredient that you want to think about is salicylic acid.
Okay.
So salicylic acid can help absorb oil from the skin and actually help exfoliate dead cells that clog the pores. So there are a couple of products that you can start thinking about to treat this over the counter.
Great.
One of them is here. This is a product by Aveeno. This is the Clear Complexion foaming cleanser, and the active ingredient is salicylic acid.
Okay.
It's really
and as I said before, this is a foaming product.
Yeah, let's see what it
Here
looks
we'll go.
like.
Here, I'll put
Yeah.
it on me.
Yeah?
And Aveeno is so
Nice.
good because it's really great for sensitive skin. Like that's just like their whole brand is really nice. So there are also calming and nourishing things in here as well. So you're also feeding your skin as you're stripping your skin. Is that true?
Yeah, you know, you really do need to make sure that when you're treating your skin with products like salicylic acid, that you're not overly drying it out.
Yeah.
So you want to stick to a trusted brand that really takes care of your skin barrier.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So you
And
can
it's
use.
a good price as well. It's not going to break the bank. So it's something preventative that you can do daily.
Yeah, they're great drugstore type brands that
Yeah.
you can get and really help the skin. You don't necessarily have to go right to the dermatologist if you're getting a couple little breakouts.
And this is something you use once or twice a day, but again, you have to know your skin type, right?
Yeah.
And check it out
So-
below in our style carousel. So what's up next for us?
So here's a mask that you can actually use. This is one by Peter Thomas Roth. This is the Irish Moor Mud Mask that has a lot of oil-absorbing ingredients like volcanic ash, and
cool.
there is salicylic acid in here also.
Uh-huh.
So we'll
Irish
open
Moor
this
mask,
up.
if you will.
So you can take a look at this. I know we're getting ready for Halloween, so
Yes.
let's get ready. So
Oh, wow.
especially with the mask, this is something that you're going to be
Whoa,
using
cool.
intermittently.
Let's
Let's
see
say
it.
once or twice a week.
I know you're applying it there with the brush. We could
With
also
the, you can use your fingers.
for sure.
So, sorry, your hair's getting in the way, but we can cover the whole face. And as with the mask, you want to let it sit on the skin for 5 to 10 minutes, then wash it off.
And so it's pulling out impurities in your skin, but at the same time, it is also adding moisture and vitamins to your skin. But would you recommend doing this on the day of a big event?
Yeah, so I wouldn't do anything the day of. Or actually, you know, if you do have a big honker the day of, we will talk about an emergency
Yes.
kit in just a second.
Because this is going to pull everything to the surface.
Yeah, and you have to be really careful, you know,
Right.
with any new product that you're using or with a mask, you really want to try it out first.
Yes, always do a spot
Yeah.
spot test on your wrist or something. This has seaweed in it, so Mom, if you're watching, I know you're allergic to seaweed, so always check the ingredients.
But all right, so we got kind of a
That's
Phantom the
cool.
Opera thing going on here.
Ooh, so cool. But it's,
I love
it's
it.
great. A lot of people are in our
very
office today have
Braveheart.
been, have been raving about this product. So super cool. Just make sure you're not doing it like the day before the day of a big event.
Right.
All right, so Doc, let's head on over here to our second station with Miss Jordan over here. Hey girl, nice to have you here.
Ready to take on.
Okay, so Jordan, like many of us, faces, you know, the occasional breakout, that sudden red blemish that wants to pop up. So how can we avoid that?
Sure. So when you're talking about red, angry pimples,
Uh-huh.
we want to be thinking about an ingredient like benzoyl peroxide.
Benzoyl peroxide.
So benzoyl peroxide kills the acne-causing bacteria
Okay.
that promotes inflammation that really gives you those big, red, angry pimples.
All right, so what's something that we can do that's,
Yeah.
is it more preventative?
Yeah, so
Okay.
here's a product by a company called La Roche-Posay. This is Ethiclar Duo, and this contains 5.5% benzoyl peroxide, along with a salicylic acid cousin called lipohydroxy acid.
Woo-wee, some
I know
big
it's a
names
mouthful,
there.
right?
So if you have, is this good for any type of skin?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, you always want to test out a new product first before applying it to the whole face to make sure that you're not, you know, sensitive to it. But for something like this, you do want to treat the whole face because you
Right.
want to treat the pimples that you have, but you also want to prevent new pimples from popping up.
That is key.
And you don't know where the next zit is going to be, so you want to treat the whole face.
All right, and it's oil-free. It's going to reduce, like you said, types of acne, and that benzoyl peroxide peroxide is the key ingredient
Yeah,
there.
and this one actually does have some skin soothing ingredients to help keep that skin barrier moisturized.
Let's see what it looks like. I would like.
Yeah.
Would you mind just kind of applying a
So
little
it
bit?
looks a little white, but you can rub it in and it dries on totally clear.
Okay.
I typically recommend applying benzoyl peroxide in the evening because benzoyl peroxide can bleach your fabrics. So you have to be careful about your clothing and be careful about your sheets. So typically, I recommend people using white pillowcases or old pillowcases that they don't care about. You actually can get pillowcases and towels that are benzoyl peroxide resistant. And that's great for college
Get out
kids.
of town. That's amazing. Okay, so check that out below in the Style Carousel, guys. La Roche-Posay is a very reputable brand, #1 skincare brand in Europe, and it's been something that we've seen, you know, just kind of like pop up here on the scene in the U.S. time and time again because of its reputation. So then you've got here, they look like little patches of sorts. So give us a scoop.
Sure. So these are the Nets Care acne absorbing covers, and these are basically what we call hydrocolloid bandages. These are little patches that we actually use, you know, for wound healing. And now they're actually available over the skin, and they come in 2 sizes in these little circles. So you have the little ones and you have these big ones for those big honkers.
Or the really, really big, massive ones.
So what it actually does is you kind of take it right off and you put it right on your pimple. We'll pretend you have a pimple, I don't know, right over there.
Okay.
And it does a couple of things. So #1, it'll help absorb oil. It'll help absorb fluid. It helps soothe the skin. It'll help you keep your fingers off that pimple so you don't pick it.
Yeah, okay, so picking, is that a problem?
Yes.
Picking, squeezing, popping, should we be doing it?
So if you have a big, red, angry pimple, you should not pick it.
Do not touch it.
I hear
Put
ya.
one of these
I hear
bad
ya.
boys on it so you won't touch it. How about that?
Yeah, and then, you know, by the next morning, it really does help calm the skin and, you know, bring down the size of that big angry pimple.
Got it. 36 of those little bandages of sorts to go over the blemishes come in a box, two different sizes, small and large. So check them out below in our Style Carousel. Frankie, Doc, what's cooking in our last station?
I actually just used those patches right before the show on my like 2 visitors that I have, and I actually feel like it actually flattened them. Like,
Yeah, it does.
like
It pulls out the oil, and that's just because of the design of the you know, the patch itself.
which will make makeup go on easier. But if you didn't do, well, you know, like take the time to put on those patches right before, what's like a really quick fix that you can do for is it?
Yeah, so like you're
Take us through
preparing
your-
for this show, you're going out for a date, you're doing whatever you need to do, and you have this big honker.
Yeah.
Well, here's Dr. Z's trifecta. This is
big
an emergency
honker.
kit, okay?
Here we go. Talk us through it.
We talked about 2 of the ingredients. I'll start with another one. Hydrocortisone 1% cream. That's the strongest that you can get over the counter. There are prescription versions available, but this is Cordaid, which is, again, 1% hydrocortisone. And what that does is that it helps reduce inflammation in the pimple. So usually I'll have people put that on first, and then right on top of that, you can layer your other products. So here we have a product by Clean and Clear. This is the Advantage Acne Spot Treatment, and this contains 2% salicylic acid.
So a little bit stronger than the
Exactly.
face wash.
So the face wash, I think, has 0.5%.
Okay, so much stronger.
So it comes on clear like a gel.
Yeah.
And here, I'll just
pretend
put
she has another
we'll pretend you have a pimple here. So we would have originally already put on our our Cordaid, our hydrocortisone cream, and you can see this dries totally clear. And then you can layer right on top of that third ingredient, the benzoyl peroxide. And here we have a product. This is a Neutrogena product, the on-the-spot acne treatment, and that contains 2.5% benzoyl peroxide. Stronger isn't necessarily better. You really can get an effective treatment with a low concentration of benzoyl peroxide like this. And you just layer them on 1, 2, 3. You don't need that much product. I probably had more on my finger on her than you actually need. A teeny little bit. Let it dry. You can put makeup over it if you want to.
Fantastic.
And this is your emergency kit.
Okay. Well, good. Noted. I need it.
Awesome. And I saw a question coming in on the chat, though, about cystic acne. And as people mature, they find that they have acne coming in at different places. Maggie Beth said along her chin.
Yeah.
What should people do for that? Can we use these products, or should we see a dermatologist?
Yeah, so I think that there are some great over-the-counter products like we just reviewed, and I would say start out with that for 2 to 4 weeks. If you're not seeing improvement, definitely visit your dermatologist.
Got it.
We have great treatments in the office.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Jay-Z, for coming in and educating us on our blemishes, and we'll be sure to get that off of you, young lady.
I think it looks cute.
All right.
So speaking of flawless skin, it's Tati time. Here she is with our product of the week. Check it out.